It's mid-March almost in our area, late winter. Great time to be gathering scions for springtime grafting. So we're going to look today at choosing, gathering, and storing scions for that springtime graft period. The first step is choosing a cultivar. Choose wisely. Once you've put that tree in there, it'll be there for a long time. So how do I choose it? Well, I've actually made notes. The best time to choose is when you're harvesting. We have clipboards for each zone, orchard blocks. So our first block, our second block, third block, and so on. And during the season when we harvest, if we have notes to put in, we'll put them in right there so we know, oh, so I put down notes. I said, oh, yes, graft more of that one. Why? Because when we harvested, we really liked it. It was productive. What I want is an orchard of weeds. Weeds. Yeah, you want weedy trees. Weedy how? Do you have to work for a weed? Do you have to water? Do you have to take care of it? No, it grows without anything. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for trees that will grow like weeds in my orchard. What grows for you may not be the ones that grow for me. So you have to find out. That's why you test a lot when you start, and we're gradually whittling down and overgrafting ones that they're not that great. So fine, replace them. Now is the time. So we gather scions to replace them. Some of the other criteria, we're looking for disease resistance. Disease can require a lot of work in sprays to control disease. So when it's resistant, it's resistant. That's one of the best things. Is it productive? When you're harvesting, that's a good chance to evaluate. Is it hard? And how does it taste? If you don't like it, don't graft it. Choose. Taste is really based on use. What are you going to use it for? Fresh eating? Are you going to store it for a long time? Or are you going to use it for cider or juice? So determine what you need. Write it down when you're harvesting and then go gather it. You can gather a scion and graft it the same day, but usually you're doing that before the buds have emerged. Ready to go out to do some pruning. It's a good idea to prepare your bags, label them, or have your tags ready as well so that there's no confusion. Each cultivar goes in their appropriate bag. There's no mixing. The next step is to gather your material. You got to know what to cut. What do you cut off? So here's a branch. You see it's got slender growth in, and then it starts to branch, and it's more and more branchy as it goes on. So you've got to learn to identify what's 1 year wood. For gathering, for grafting, you want to gather 1 year old wood. So this is, from here on, is 1 year old. How do I know that? Well, you see this one here? There's no branches on it. And if you look closely, you see these lines? These lines are last year's terminal bud. So it was this part here was last year, and it grew all this way. So in the spring it was here, that terminal bud, and then it grew. So then the next one, once you know how to identify these terminal bud rings, you just go along the branch, look, and are you finding any more? Oh, there's some more. So that is the start of 2 year old wood. And so you see 2 year old, you've got some branches, or in this case spurs, starting. From here on is 2 year old, and from here on is the only part you want to gather. This is your 1 year wood. So gather it. You can gather a little bit below, that's fine. And all the rest you don't want to keep. This is your scion. But this is the part that you'll want to use for grafting. So you've gathered you've got a bunch of them now. So get a bunch. Don't be cheap with some scion wood. Gather more than you need. You think, well, I'll only need 2 or 3. If you're going to make a bundle for 2 or 3, make a bundle for 20. Why? Because you can always trade, give, or sell any extra you have. It's also good to know the length of your bundles. If they're too long, in this case, I have a few that are quite long, you can just cut them off. You can keep these pieces or just forget it. Now you have a bundle that you do want to make sure it will fit in your refrigerator. Now the last step is, how do you store your scions until the spring when you need them? Well, take them out. You gathered them. Now, take them out of your gathering bag. So you have a bundle. And here's one that I already well on the way, and I'll show you the step to get there. I like to use paper towels and take a bunch. So gather them, make sure they're sitting on the bottom. Take your paper towel, just wrap them up. Treat them like you would vegetables you want to keep for a while. You just want that paper towel to hold water. You don't want your scions to stick out anywhere, so use more paper towel if you need to. You can also use newspaper, and I've had some put out with newspaper. And that's it. That's part is ready. Moistened, stick it in a bag. You may want to put your label in the bag just to make sure. I don't have many cultivars this year, so I'm not going to do that. And then just wrap them up. Be careful. I can tell you from experience, it's no fun grafting a tree and finding out that you made a mistake somewhere and it's not what you thought it was. So be a little more systematic. So there's your name. Don't be afraid of writing it more than once in case it washes off. You don't want to end up in the spring not knowing what it is, because it's crucial to know. So there's labeled on it. So this one, topaz. Put it on a few places. And that's it. Now, I've got my 3 bundles, my 3 cultivars that I wanted to gather. I like to also indicate the cultivar and what the cultivar and what is the harvest date. So this one, Nova Mac, mid-September. So that will indicate to me which rows will be overgrafted with this cultivar. And the same for the other was mid-September or mid-September. So put the cultivar, put the date, and they're ready to go in the fridge, in the crisper preferably, and they're ready for your springtime grafting. With these we saw how to choose, gather, and store scions for the coming spring grafting season. Get them, get ready, have fun. If you like this,